So we're in 2011. Last time we talked was reviewing the year past and what had been achieved. It's probably worthwhile thinking about what you hope to achieve this year.
Obviously, the first thing is the East End following on from last year. We need to get that signed down and locked off. There's a few debates on that to go within government. They're a little bit not comfortable with some of the green ratings we've required as height bonuses, and so convincing them of the merits of those will be key. But then really most importantly, getting something started down there and actually enabling that to get going would be great for this year. But in terms of new projects, I think there's a couple that come to mind. First, again, following on from the transit study of last year, is really taking that to the next level, making sure that is properly embedded within Coburn Coast, and we're seeing that, which is really exciting. We're much further advanced in terms of influencing Vancor, state government, City of Coburn than I probably would have thought it would have been this time last year. And it's looking like now light rail will be embedded into that project. It may not be built straight away, but it will be embedded, and that was it's an argument I've been having for at least 5 or 6 years. There's lots of challenges around that, about where it goes, how it goes, and those kind of things. But I think having that properly embedded will be really key. The other project which I'm really keen to work on is thinking about the Knutsford Street West, or the Swanbourne Street Structure Plan area, which is up near the monument between Swanbourne going down to Amherst. And I actually think we can take that project further than we took the East End in terms of sustainability outcomes. And by that I mean affordability, energy and water efficient design, density. So I actually want to, and they're going to come back with creating a new structural plan for that area over the next 6 months. And I guess I want that to be, and I've said to them, I don't care about the height, that should come last after you work out all the other stuff. It's about actually, let's see what we can do that's really ambitious in that area. Let's make this a real, we don't have a showcase in the last 10 years of good design in Western Australia. Especially not one that Landcor's done.
Okay, that's 3 pretty big things. Actually, they're all 3 big developments, and they're all involving infrastructure.
Yep.
So that's a planning agenda, really.
Yeah, that's right. That's the planning agenda for that next. And then I guess, so in terms of the other key things I want to see happen, I mean, a lot of the planning has been done for the reactivation of King Square. And now it's about making sure we roll that out over the next few months. Linda was down for the first of the youth festivals, which was a bit hot and didn't quite work as well as we hoped in terms of people coming along, but starting to generate that bit of that sense of young people reclaiming that space. Okay. So that was quite fun. They had kind of band and a big crazy ball. And
what about opening out the library and doing all that?
Yeah, I think realistically that will probably happen early next year, about a year's time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Designing it?
That's happening at the moment. That's happening at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Just getting that onto the agenda, I think.
Oh, no, so we've got agreement that needs to happen. There's some contention about which way it should face out. For me, it's a no-brainer. It should have face out on this north side, because there's always, you don't want to look at Queensgate or Myer. You kind of want to look at the church in this historic precinct, and it's on the north side. And you get the light in the winter time. So that's happening. That's really exciting. The Wi-Fi and all the other smaller tractors, the coffee carts, all those things will roll out over the next little while. Well, I mean, I think everything takes longer. That's the problem. That's the frustration of this job. Is I don't quite understand why things just can't happen next week.
Yeah.
It seems like it's a couple of phone calls.
Let's talk about transport. You mentioned the light rail. I'd like to talk about the port. It's an ongoing issue of trucks and
it is a big issue. It really is. And it's one of which I think there needs to be a proper rational discussion. I mean, I think we need to accept the port's not going to move in the next 10 or 20 years. I mean, there's been the planning for its relocation or even an overflow port has fallen into the black hole of state government.
Too hard,
Yep. Even though they know though that this port is going to reach capacity around about 2017. So there's a government knowing that something's about to happen, but they're not planning for it.
But bikes, yeah. I see there's a bug being launched.
Yeah.
That'll be helpful.
Yep. And so there's a lot of money in the budget, and none of it's kind of hit the road yet, which is it's really frustrating in the sense of you kind of work really hard to get the money in the budget, and then they, in their defence, I guess what we've been asking for is kind of some of it's outside the norms of what would normally happen. They'd made a bit of road one way, which made it impossible for bikes to access. So I said, well, you've got to put a one-way sign for bikes so they're not breaking the law. And this is my recommendation. And the director wrote back to me, yes, and he said, thank you for that recommendation. I'll see if I can get that signed off by God. Which is going to happen, but for the state government to sign off on it, they had to remove 3 parking bays. Simple things that are really happening all over the world, really simply done with line markings, even in Melbourne. So it's not like this is only in conservative WA, it's just super risk adverse. So the idea that you'd have a bike lane travelling in the opposite direction to other traffic seems too hard for people. I didn't realise that main roads had so much sign off on every bit of traffic design. So every bit of traffic and road design we do has to be signed off by main roads, that it meets Australian standards and that that it's been drawn correctly to all those specifications. So, when you're trying to actually do something, that's a bit innovative, So we're actually getting to the point though. And it's nice to hear engineers say this. We're just not going to get main roads to sign off on this. And even like the good social things we've been doing, like the Cappuccino strip club thing. The major cost of those is the road closures. The city paid for the first one, not out of the budget I got for the group. But the cost for the whole event were $1,400, of which $1,300 of which was for a road closure.
Insurance for the road closure?
Well, to hire some guys to come around and put up some signs, say the road's closed, and then sit near it and watch the sign.
Oh my.
Well, plus a whole bunch of paperwork that says, that informs the police, the blah blah blah, that this small bit of road will be closed. So the second time we went, this is crazy. I was like, we can never do these things in the city. Going to the CEO's credit, we did the second one with, it was the other end of the spectrum, probably just a little bit more than this, where they just dropped off randomly one side and said, do with it what you will, and then left us to it. and there was no cost. So, and of course nothing happens. I think it's about being sensible. You need some signage and things like that, but you don't need to have 2 guys sitting in their Commodore smoking, watching a sign to make sure that somehow that makes things safer. Yeah. But actually, we are getting quite good at not getting too stuck on the red tape.
So those 2 events in the street, do you think they were successful and they're helping to set the tone of what you're trying to bring? Very much so.
And I think also what it's doing is, so we'll do another one in Henderson Street Mall in a week or so, and then the final one down actually on the strip itself, blocking off half of the strip. And I think what it does is also getting the traders in that area around the idea of what it might look like if you have an activated, closed off strip that people use.